Right, and folks, as part of this podcast about men's mental health, we have the lovely Mal here with us. Hello, Mal.
Hello, Sheila. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Feel free to introduce yourself to the listeners.
My name's Malcolm. I met Sheila at a business meeting, and we had a chat every now and again. And yeah, I've got my own business, but still, it doesn't get you away from mental health or anything like that because you're around.
Yeah, absolutely, Mal. As well, so we met, through the networking, through business meetings, and we tend to get chat about mental health. You've always had an interest in mental health. Where does that come from, Mal? If you don't mind me asking.
I think it's just myself personally, and looking back at life and the way I've been affected with mental health and stuff like that, and whatever, at times it's been some dark times, been some rough times, and I've learned such a lot, and I'm still evolving, and from day to day, I just deal with mental health basically.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're all learning as we go along. I don't believe anybody is the expert here. I think as human beings, we are going to have up and down days. And what I particularly love about your approach, Mal, is your honesty. Like some of the stuff when I speak about mental health, about being okay with not being okay, you absolutely advocate that. About kind of, we're going to have good days, but we're also going to have bad days. And as you say yourself, you've learned a lot. It's interesting. I was just speaking with Aid beforehand, and we were talking about generational behaviours. And I just wonder, do you feel that you have a different attitude towards mental health than, let's say, your parents would have had or your grandparents?
Yeah, because there was no out then. My mum lost her dad when I was 7 months pregnant, she was.
Wow, okay.
Help. She had no help. She just had to get on with life, and that was the way life was.
Yeah, all those things are kind of buried inside. You know what I mean? Like, it's very sad, actually, isn't it? That the help, it just wasn't there, and it just wasn't spoken about, Whereas yourself then, Mel, did you kind of make an effort then to have a different approach and to talk and to engage in support?
Yeah, I mean, it all come from, I was just in some dark times, and some friend said to me, go to the doctors.
Okay.
I went to the doctors, and they come out of the doctors, and he said, I rang him up, and he said, how do you feel now? The doctor told me you got depression, stuff like that. And I said, yeah, I got help. And
when you say you got help, Mal, if you don't mind saying, what kind of help?
Some counselling, but looking back, it helped for so long. But in the end, the lady said to me, I can't help you no more. What?
Yeah.
Can't help you. So I sat there for an hour crying, talking to her. And she said, there's a number, ring these. You're too far from me. And this is after weeks and weeks of different counselling. So I didn't know which way to turn.
So sorry, man. Am I hearing that was actually quite a negative experience then, with this particular counselling experience?
Really,
that you'd had weeks and weeks, and it was kind of like, I can't help you anymore, and you're still crying your eyes out.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm really sorry to hear that, first of all.
He listened to me for an hour, and years later when I got counselling, he couldn't believe I was left like it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it put me off.
Yeah, and do you know what, Mal? That really highlights an important point here, that unfortunately the actual counselling, the whole system, it's not regulated. So you can have people who are not necessarily qualified to call themselves counsellors. Myself and other counsellors were part of a regulation body, and rightly so, where, we've supervision and we make sure that we're qualified. And that I have come across that before, Mal, where people have had negative experiences with counselling and it's put them off. Whereas I hope that you've had some really good experiences following that to realise that if you're proper counselling, it's amazing, actually.
Yeah, I have. I've spoke to yourself as well.
Yeah.
We've had a one-to-one chat.
Absolutely, Mal, yeah.
Chat, not counselling, just an open chat. Just to show, you can just talk. You don't need to be, you don't have to pull your heart out.
Yeah, and like that's the thing, because I know yourself, like for the listeners, Mal is a roofer and he goes out to lots of different properties, but he's more than a roofer here because it is that kind of, helping each other out. Like exactly what you're talking about there, Mal. I remember when you were going through a tough time, I said, just come over and we'll have a chat. And sometimes that's all somebody needs. They mightn't need full on counselling. And you came over as a friend, and kind of myself, obviously having all these counselling skills, but more so as a friend. Because for you, Mal, I hear so many stories of how you go out your way to help people. It's not just about fixing a roof. It's like, how are you doing? No, how are you actually?
Yeah.
And you have meaningful conversations with people that you meet, which is
With a lot of people, young, old, they're in the house, they're just struggling, and especially during lockdown, the older people, because obviously they never went for counselling. And that was low. It was a lot, and I do a lot. I speak to a lot of people that passed, and we have a good laugh as well, about the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weekly thing, and I do encourage people, look, I suffer with mental health daily, and I encourage the lads at work to talk to each other. And one of the young lads, I reached out to him the other day privately, and he thanked me. He just said, thanks. Just thanks for just listening and just being there for me.
Do you know something, man? Like what you're highlighting there is something really important here is that, first of all, to talk. So whether it's your neighbour or whoever you meet in the street or even going out shopping, just start chatting to people, because a lot of people do feel lonely and isolated and they need to talk. And then it's modelling those behaviours, exactly what you're doing, man, about saying, you know what, I've had mental health issues and that's okay. And actually, we've all had mental health issues, whether we admit them or not. But when you're able to talk about it, it's like your guys at work and say, look, come and have a chat to me. It almost like it's we start from ourselves, Mel, where we're okay with talking about mental health. We don't carry any stigma or any shame. And then that makes us then more approachable to other people. They're more likely to come in and have a chat. So it's talking, but it's also modeling the behaviors where mental health is normal. There's no stigma. We all suffer at different times, and that's just how it is.
It's people get this thing of, you got mental health, or stand back. But now it's becoming a bit more, some people don't understand it, but you don't have to understand it. Like I've explained to my partner, I said, you don't understand it in one way. Like my dad, God bless him, didn't understand it, but it's about to listen. Sometimes just listening, not what you can do for somebody, just being there to listen. I've had some few tragedies in the last few years. Not say tragedies, but trigger points and stuff. And I've reached out and said to people, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
I just need to go home. I'm not okay. So I didn't go home and, and that's it. It could be anything.
Yeah, and man, exactly that. It's modeling those behaviors, being able to say, no, I'm not okay. And it's almost managing your own expectations. And it leads me to something that you said to me, actually, in one of our conversations about taking the pressure off, taking the pressure off ourselves to be okay when we're not okay. And it's even okay to say that and to recognize, okay, I'm going to go home now, I'm going to have to go cry, or I'm going to go for a walk, I'm going to chat to someone, whatever I need to do. But it's almost, again, owning it first of all to say, do you know what, I'm not okay. And that's okay not to be okay.
Yeah. Just, if you need to shut yourself away for 5 minutes, shut yourself away. But there's a few things I do, I found that helps me. Just being around some positiveness sometimes. Obviously, I exercise quite a bit. I say to people, just get out there and just have a walk, if you're not feeling good. If I notice something at work that's not right with the lads, I sat down, pulled one of them to the side and say, can I just have a little 5 minutes? What do you mean? And then, something might be going on at home where he had no sleep and the kids are playing up, he's had bad. And I just go, okay, what can we do? Do you want to have 5 minutes? Do you want to have time off? Do you want to talk about it? If I can help you, you need to go home early. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it.
Wow,
so,
you know what I mean? You sound like, I hope the listeners can hear this, but you sound like an amazing boss. I get the feeling that when people are listening to this podcast, we're thinking, hang on, we want to work from outcome.
Yeah. No, I do, they need to, for me, there's three things, and other people use it now. Family first, training, what I do, no matter what it may be, maybe a bit of cycling, a bit of whatever, and then work. But I've found the last 12 months or so, I just journal.
Okay, so you journal.
Just a journal book, yeah. So,
yeah, for the listeners here, Mal is holding up his journal and showing it off proudly.
Yeah. I'm happy to do that. It just might be something there. How you getting on with sleep well. Just that little 5 minutes of your own, sit on the side of the bed, and at the night time, what did I do today? Yeah, what went well? Exercise and stuff, and exercise, a bit of work, What's on your mind? They're not expensive, the journaling books. You can do it in a diary, you can do what you want. They're just
So for you then, for the listeners that maybe might not know what journal is, and it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
What is it for you, man? Do you literally just write down any thoughts, whether they're negative, positive, whatever?
Yeah, normally how do you sleep? I slept okay. Yeah, what's on your mind? Last few months it's been my family, my mum, my dad. Obviously, my dad passed away. And what do I do today? My self-care routine. And little thought for tomorrow. And usually, little thought for tomorrow is smile and be positive.
Val, as you were saying that, those questions that you ask yourself in the journal, how are you? How did you sleep? How's your day been? You just sound like, it's almost like you can imagine your own best friend chatting to you that way. How are you? How did you sleep? And
I find that when you're writing like you haven't slept well, and you ask yourself the question, why didn't you sleep well? Did I not go to bed early? It's something on my mind. So I tend to go a bit earlier than the night after, just a little bit more earlier night, just to calm down, shut the phones, turn the phones off, no social media, and just relax.
Wow, man, what a lovely way to check in on yourself, because you can imagine some people that are so busy in autopilot that if they don't sleep, they might forget about the fact that they didn't sleep, and then they have a knock on to their day where they're kind of hard on themselves. But you can imagine having something like a journal where you go, how did you sleep? That may then ground you to think, okay, I need to take things a bit more slowly today. I need to maybe go to bed a bit earlier the following night, as you say, turn off the social media. I'm hearing this lovely self-care going on that you have for yourself, man.
And also have time for, without Mal, there's no Mal.
Yeah.
Without no Sheila. So have time about you time. I like swimming because I wanted to be a better swimmer. I'm not the best in the world, but I can swim a mile a week now, which is amazing for me. From where I come from.
Fair play.
And in the swimming baths, you can't take your phone with you. So that phone has to go away and turn it off or put it in the locker, while you're there, which is you time. And also I found a way of, your friend will phone you and go, oh, I've got this problem, that problem. If you're not in the right frame of mind, just go, don't feel guilty. Just go, can I ring you back in half an hour? Just busy. And normally that gives them time to bring somebody else up instead of you taking their problems on and having even more coming in your mind.
Absolutely, Mal, you've really highlighted something so important there, that we're always, saying talk to somebody, but sometimes somebody might approach you and you might not be in a good place yourself. And you don't, you can say that if you want to have counsellor mates, we support each other, we can say that openly, look, I'm not in a good place myself, can we chat? But we'll arrange another time. But that's a lovely way of first recognising that in yourself. If you're already overwhelmed, then you're not in a position to take on their problems too. You're kind of not doing both each other a favour here when it comes to that. You need to recognise that,
They might really need your help at that minute where it might be literally life or death. So you just answer the phone and say, you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. I just need to talk. Okay, then. Well, but if it's about issues, you know, everyday
Yeah.
life. Go, can I just call you back? I'm just busy at the moment.
Yeah, I'm just busy, you know, but what a lovely way of managing that so that I can call you back at so and so. So yes, we're encouraging people to talk, but we also need to recognize if we're not in a good place ourselves, and then to kind of to make time to talk when we're in a good place as well. It's such an important thing. Man, I'm mindful because I know we're coming towards the end of our time.
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
So I wonder kind of like, I kind of feel like we're all learning as we go along, and we're learning, you know, life's lessons, and we get passed on advice. But I wonder for yourself, kind of, is there anything that you've learned, Mal, that you'd really like to share when it comes to men's mental health? I mean, there's been so many messages here that you've already teased out about talking, and what do you really want to share with guys listening out there?
Lads, learn how to switch that off.
Okay. Mal is holding up his phone.
Learn how to switch your phone off.
Yeah.
Don't feel guilty about social media. That goes for the women as well. Lads, women, men, you know, just don't be scared to say, don't turn off your notifications. Just turn it off. Go at like 8 o'clock at night. I'm not going to answer the phone again.
Yeah.
Just, you know what I mean? If your family needs to get hold of that, they'll get hold of you through somebody else. You know?
Yeah, that sounds like really sound advice, to be able to switch off, to have some self-boundaries.
Some people can't switch a phone off, and you need to learn how to switch that phone off. It's hard, but once you do it, you'll do it all the time.
Yeah.
Put the phone in the drawer.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Put it in a drawer, maybe turn it off for small periods of time at first. It's funny, like we talk about FOMO, the fear of missing out. When I heard somebody else mention the word JOMO, the joy of missing out. And I think I have that, because I love being away from social media. I mean, Justine is amazing. She does my social media, and we have weekly meetings about it. So, but I do go on now and again, but I'm just very mindful of kind of not being on it all the time for my own mental health. And I think modeling those behaviours, man.
So if somebody feels like they can't switch the phone off, leave it in the house, go for a walk for 5 minutes. Make a point of going to the shop to get something. Don't drive your car. Just make a point of walking.
Yeah.
Get a bit of rain in, anything. Just do it.
Just getting out in nature.
Works. It works.
Yeah.
Just walking the street.
Yeah, it certainly does. Mal, you're an amazing advocate for mental health. Thank you so much for your time today. And I hope, I mean, this is obviously going to be on Apple and Spotify, you know, as a podcast. It's also going to be on my YouTube channel, Sheila's YouTube channel. So please watch us. I believe Ben will put up the audio, but he'll also put up the video of the two of us having a chat. And please, put in the comments, folks. Sorry, Mal.
By the way, this hasn't been pre-done. This is just off the top of my head.
Absolutely. Love that, Mal. Thank you so much, Mal. Okay, listen, we'll see you again at the next meeting.
It's okay to be okay.
Thank you, Mal. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Counsellor Convos with Sheila McMahon. If you've enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel.